Good morning, good morning. It's another glorious day to have a wonderful virtual events masterclass. Now, the world has gone into chaos, but there's lessons that we've learned in 2020 that we should not forget about. During times of chaos, people need direction. During times of chaos, people need distractions. During times of chaos, people need inspiration. And during times of chaos, people need mental assistance. Now, some here today might be used to doing virtual events. We still do it regularly. We do more than 100 virtual events every single year. So some of you might be used to it, and others might not be doing virtual events, and there might be some fear. So hopefully today we can provide some value to everyone so that you can work out and go and create some special moments with your audience. Now, my name is André du Plessis, and I'm the CEO of Multimedia South Africa. Multimedia operates in the Middle East as well as South Africa, and we do more than 1,000 events per year. And the busiest day is 35 events on a single day. But our time is extremely limited, so let's jump into it. Let me start with a question. When we join virtual events, what's the first thing people do? They switch off the camera, they switch off their microphone, they open an external tab on their extended screens, whether it may be Monday, emails, WhatsApp. They're not focusing. And the thing is, they're not being rude. That is perfectly rational behavior, because most events are designed like meetings, but audiences don't want to live in this meeting culture. We're having meetings to discuss when we're having a meeting. It's become a massive meme. Corporates are being mocked. People are mocking themselves because we're so stuck in meeting mode that we actually forgot how to host virtual events. And virtual events aren't here for meetings. They're there to influence behavior so that people can go out and ultimately create the change that the companies require from them. So your audience lives in a world of YouTube, Netflix, Twitch, TikTok, all these different things. Infinite entertainment, infinite interaction, and now war. Some people might be feeling the war directly and others indirectly. Everyone is in their own journey, and we need to meet them where they are at. So what do? We ask them to join a 90-minute PowerPoint presentation, and that's not an event. That's a calendar obligation that we actually don't have time for. We don't have energy for it. So if we want better virtual events, we need to rethink how human attention works. And it starts with 4 basic principles. Now, step 1, every single event needs to pass through these 4 different gates. And if you miss one, you start to lose your audience. So step 1 is get people to care. Create an emotional connection with your audience. Because just because you spend money on your event doesn't mean people necessarily care about your event. And it's your responsibility to create that emotional connection. Because when you launch a process or a product, people don't care. And we need to create that energy so that they really feel like, okay, they want to be part of this thing. Then step number 2 is get people to believe. Are you using an expert to land your message? Is your expert actually excited about this new process or product that you're launching? Or is it creating a disconnect where we're all sitting there and we're like, yeah, we don't really care because we don't believe what you are saying? And then we need to tell people what they need to know. And we all do this extremely well. All events always tell people what they need to know. But the events are lame because we don't create that emotional connection with the audience. And then we need to tell people what they need to do. We need to give them an actual plan. See, a call to action is just a lazy cop-out. Give people a plan, steps that they can follow so that they can go on and create change. And most events start at step 3, telling people what they need to know, and they end at step 3. Telling people what they need to know. It's all about the information, but information only matters after emotion and belief exists. So, when Steve Jobs introduced the new iPhone in 2007, I think it was, he didn't start out with, this is a phone, A1 chip, limited split diff. No, he said, ladies and gentlemen, today Apple is going to reinvent the phone. And people paid attention. They were like, wait, that's quite a statement. What do you mean? So he showed them a iPod. He showed them a phone and he showed them an internet connecting device until they realized that it's all in one device. It's only after that emotional moment that he started to explain the technology: care, belief, knowledge, action. That sequence changed an entire industry, and virtual events can follow the same principles. Start with why it matters, not what you know. And right now, everyone is talking about AI, but most of the conversations are quite shallow. You see, people are using AI to write emails and summarize meetings, and there is a time and place for it. It is a great thing. But it's like discovering electricity and using it to power your desk lamp. The real opportunity of AI lies in how it allows you to think different. And I'm tired. You're tired. We're all emotional. I'm an emotional eater, so I just eat trash food like the little raccoon that I am. So what do? I use ChatGPT to lift the cognitive strain and to allow me to think different. So step 2 is elevate your ideas with the assistance of AI. I'm going to give you 5 prompts that you can just screenshot, but I first want to share with you the 4 levels of AI usage in event. Level 1, I have an event, give me ideas. It has no context and it's just going to spew a bunch of crap out to you. Level number 2 is I have an event for X company. It's on this day. This is the objectives. This is what I want to achieve. And it's going to provide you a little bit more of a aligned information. But level 3 is where you provide it with the audience profile so that he knows who are we speaking or who do we need to communicate to. You give it the company profile so that it understands the tone of the message, the vision, the mission, the purpose of the company. It understands what the company needs to achieve. You provide it with the objectives, the golden thread, and the key messaging. And you tell it, I have an event, please assist me with some ideas. Suddenly it has more information to work with and will provide you with better ideas. And now level number 4 is you take those ideas and you utilize your own creativity to create something that is special and unique. So when we look at this prompt on screen, you have to attach your audience profile, your event objectives, golden thread, and key messaging, as well as your company profile. And then you prompt it. Based on the attached files, provide me with an opening keynote idea that is different to the norm, that makes people feel different. Ask it for something that's different and unique. Also provide me with the recommended professional speaker and why you recommend them for this talk. And suddenly it will provide you with different ideas. And people will say, oh yeah, this doesn't really matter. But we've had information back from ChatGPT in the past that is very unique ideas that we've never even thought about. And I'd like to share with some of them with you today. So the first one is the regret experiment, where based on the regrets of one of the audience members in the venue, the speaker shares how to spot those moments where you're going to have regrets if you make a certain decision so that you don't step into the same trap every single time. There is the domino effect, where you take an audience member and you break down all their decisions that they've made that led up to that specific point in time. Then you have the impossible task, where you ask audience members to solve a puzzle that is basically impossible to solve unless you know how. So throughout the keynote, the speaker shares the steps, and at the end, people realize that I can do anything if I know how. And then the social experiment, where you ask 2 audience members to participate in a certain task. One is told that they need to win at all costs, and the other one is told you need to play it safe. And at the end, we can see how certain behaviors changes the outcomes of a certain task. Now, suddenly, you have an audience that participates. You're not just on stage or on screen delivering a keynote. You have people driving the keynote forward. Their stories, they are the heroes, are driving your event forward. And it allows you to still land the message that you need to land and achieve the objectives that you need to achieve. But no, what do? We start with the same MCs, same boring approach, and a CEO who most probably doesn't even want to be there. So people remember 2 things from your event: their favorite part and the ending. But getting their attention from the start is still your responsibility. So if you can create an event around every single section might be someone's favorite. You only have to worry about the ending. And I don't want you to measure a virtual event as we did it, so it was successful. Our objective was our CEO wanted a virtual event, so we did it. No, care about the people. Meet the people where they're at. We're not entitled to our audience's attention. We have to earn it, we have to respect it, and we have to take them on a journey so that they can go on and create change. Now, prompt number 2, create a narrative storyline for a 3-hour virtual event so that the content feels like a journey. Highly recommend Building a Story Brand. Definitely a good book to read. It will change your thinking, as well as reading up on the Euros journey. It will give you some direction with how to approach things with your audience. Include emotional beats, transitions, and how the host should guide the story. Attached are the audience profile, company profile, and event objectives. And you start having a conversation with AI. Then you continue the conversation because it has the context now, right? 5 high energy transitions a host can use between a session on a virtual event to maintain momentum and keep audiences engaged. You don't start a new chat because it doesn't have the context to go forward. You continue with the chat. And if you start a new chat, always attach those files again, audience profile, company profile, and event objectives. Then next prompt is design a moment in my virtual event where the audience becomes part of the content. Include instructions for the host, audience prompts, and how to showcase their responses live. Then prompt number 5, I have statistics about my industry. Turn these into a compelling story that a presenter can use in a keynote to keep the virtual audience engaged. I have an entire keynote about using data because data in a presentation can be fun. It doesn't need to be boring, but it starts with us taking responsibility over these things so that we can create something that is special and unique. Now, I quickly want to talk about micro moments. It's these small little things that we do at our events, 1 to 3 minutes, that is just jam-packed audience participation experiences. So the first thing that I can talk about is something that we call confession booth. So usually in an in-person event, you put a booth inside your venue where you record audio and people share their fears. It's anonymous, and then during the event, you play that fear in the main hall and your speaker addresses the fear. As an example, if people are scared, if you have an AI event, people go in and they say, I'm scared AI is going to destroy my life, it's going to take my job. And then you play that clip in the auditorium and your speaker breaks it down and he shares how can you empower yourself so that you don't feel like you're going to lose out. Give people an opportunity to feel like I'm not alone in challenges. Others feel the same way that I do. Vulnerability is ultimately shared and people start to engage more openly because they are anonymous. Then there's something called the I'm stuck submission, and you can do it easily within chat on a virtual event. Your audience, rather than asking stupid questions, they say, I am stuck with X, Y, and Z. Can you help me? And your keynote speaker, once he's done with his speech, can then address those I'm stuck things and give people direction, tell them what they need to do to get out of that stuck environment. Then we have something called the Whisper Network, which is usually something that's done inside a venue, but it can be done online as well because people can send private messages. So it's where people share instructions to each other to get participation going. So you can message someone and say, hey, ask this scary question to the keynote speaker, and the people need to participate in it, and they engage with each other behind the scenes while still listening to your speech. And then there's something called live remix. We get a talented music producer, doesn't need to be expensive, just a talented guy that's able to take sound bites from all these different things and create a track specific for your event that utilizes sound bites and music for something special. And how do you drive all this forward? By playing simple bingo. Send everyone a bingo card via email, and during the event they have certain things that they need to achieve. If we need to do networking, ask or have a conversation with someone who's based in Cape Town. Have a conversation with someone who's based in Dubai. Ask this kind of question. Do this kind of thing. So while people are participating in your event, they can do the thing, screenshot it, mark it off, and at the end, whoever completed bingo, so it can go into a lucky draw and someone can win something because they participated in your event. But it drives certain things forward, engaging with certain people doing a specific thing. And these micro moments are something that's special and unique, that's focused on the audience and not just on your brand message and what you need to achieve. So when we look at AI, I have a little recipe for you. I have A audience for B company with C objectives. X event, what kind of event is it, who's the event for, and Y outcome. Please provide 10 creative ideas that help me to achieve this outcome. And you'll start to get the right information that's able to allow you to go to level 4 and think different. So step 3, let's talk about show design. No platform will save bad event design. No platform will save bad speakers, and no platform will save you from bad messaging. And neither will any sort of cool visuals. You have to design the event correctly and perfectly with all the intention, and then elevate it with your platform and your content. Now, virtual environments can alleviate or lift some wowness in your event because it's new, it's novel. Your audience sees something and they're like, wow, I haven't seen this before. But that doesn't stay at that kind of level of excitement because they get used to it. So when your message and your show is designed badly, you surprise them for a first 5 minutes with something cool, and then they start to disconnect. So we really need to jump in and focus on event design and then look at our platforms and our content. Now, we create these kinds of things that you see here today with AI and a crap load of video editing. Slides, the lights moving, all of those things created with AI. And you can do that yourself. You can elevate yourself to a whole new level, but it's going to take time, energy, and focus to develop these skills. So what do you need to do? You need to levels up on ChatGPT. You need to level up on image generation through ChatGPT or something like Envato. You need to level up on video prompting so that you're able to get things to move and do what they need to do. You need to level up on Adobe Creative Cloud so that you can edit and do all of these different things. Or you can focus on what's most important, getting people to care, getting people to believe, telling them what they need to know, telling them what they need to do. Focus on your event objectives and your event design, and get a technical partner like multimedia to assist you with all these technical needs. It's not necessary to be the expert in all these things. Focus on the things that you are good at. Now, let's quickly talk about what an event can look like. So we can create these virtual environments that fits your brand's CI. Lights are moving, it looks very flashy. Your speakers or your MC, we can have stings with them coming in, and your MC can have his own personal scene where he's always at. He appears onto screen through MS Teams or Zoom, and he has conversations with your audience members. Before we go into the auditorium, we can have your speaker sting on screen, and then we go closer to your speaker, where they get people to care, get people to believe, tell them what they need to know, and tell them what they need to do. Once we wrap up with that, we have to go into a micro moment, a moment for the audience to connect that's driven by your MC before we can go to a panel discussion or Q&A with all the different people, and then we wrap it up again with a micro moment so that we know those people walk away with something that they remember. They remember their favorite part, and they remember the ending. It is quite easy to do this if we have the right structure, the right event that focuses on care, believe, know, and do. Now, I would highly recommend that you also use your platform's breakaway rooms. It's something that we don't really use because it's not managed correctly. See, most organizations will say that Microsoft Teams breakaways and its offering is quite limited in creativity. But the thing is, the creativity lies with us. It's just the platform. It's not the platform that's limited, it's our event format. And Teams becomes a very powerful tool when we start using it like a conversation engine, and we utilize it as an opportunity for the audience to participate. And breakaway rooms are where that shift can happen. And the key words here is breakaway rooms, not the usual boring breakaway sessions. Audience, don't want a sales room, a marketing room, a platform room, whatever the case may be. They don't want those generic rooms. They want something special and unique. So imagine you have this main stage, this main place where you need to land your brand messaging, where everyone needs to be there. They have to participate in it. Those are the key things. But then you have different kind of rooms where they can engage with different kinds of things. So imagine you have a ideas lab where you share something different. So let's say we have an event for brokers who need to sell insurance. And in the ideas lab, we have a poker player telling people how to avoid risks. We have a disaster response coordinator telling people how to make decisions when everything goes wrong. And we can have a wildlife tracker talking about predicting behavior without data. It is still aligned with our core message and what we need to achieve, but in a different kind of way. It's something that is special and unique. And then we can have the networking room. But just having a networking room doesn't mean anyone's going to network. We have to give them this opportunity through micro moments or bingo to force them to engage with different people. And we can also have a backstage boss, a backstage channel room where once a speaker is done, they go backstage. And an audience member, if they want to have a chat with them, they can leave the main room, go into the backstage room, and have a quick Q&A, a conversation with the speaker. This allows us to move away from boring Q&A, because a lot of times Q&A it derails the beats of your event. Give people an opportunity to engage with the speakers that want to engage with them, and give an opportunity to the majority of your audience to continue with the event and provide them with value. Now, you can provide your audience different options. Like, they don't need to sit in one single room. But I know the corporates will say, I need everyone in the same room at all time because I need to consume the information because we're spending money on this thing. I understand that. So you can fix that through AI. You can summarize every single session. Give people a PDF with what happened in every single talk, the key points, what's important, and what people need to do, as well as provide them with a link to the recording of that session. So suddenly, I can enjoy the things I want to enjoy at my event, but I know the brand expects certain things from me, so I can watch those things at a later time when I have the time and actually consume it at my own pace and still achieve what we need to achieve. Now, Pixar has this thing called brain trust. When they run into issues with a movie, they don't call in millions of people. They call in a handful of people, no hierarchy, no presentation, just honest discussions. And everyone is encouraged to challenge the ideas. And this process has shaped movies like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Inside Out. And the insight is simple. Great ideas don't come from audiences. Great ideas come from having conversations. And I always tell people, when you have an in-person event, go and stand in the smoking area. That is where you get the real feedback from people when they don't know you're around. And breakout rooms can create this exact brain trust dynamic in a virtual space. So instead of just listening, people can contribute and participate on their own terms without ultimately diminishing the main room. And when people contribute, they care more about your event and you ultimately achieve your outcome. And human contribution leads to the next point. Audience engagement. Now, most events add interaction like it's some sort of seasoning. You know, this tastes quite bland, so let's add a poll here, a chat there, whatever the case may be. But interaction is not a feature. It's an environment that you need to create. The best experiences create spaces where participation ultimately feels natural. The opening speaker I mentioned right at the start, the regret experiment, the domino effect, bringing stories into the keynote so that the keynote drives the message forward and the stories, the heroes, drive the message forward. That's engagement, not polls. Micro moments, that's engagement, not word clouds. Polls and Q&As don't mean anything. They're excuses for a lack of effort and creativity to really get your audience to participate. Now, I love the Pokemon company and brand. big part of my childhood, big part of my adulthood as well. Now, Pokemon didn't become this global phenomena because of the games alone. It succeeded because of its entire participation ecosystem. They have games, they have cards, they have TV shows, they have movies, they have tournaments, they have all these things going on. But the real magic happened in schoolyards and play yards because kids started trading cards, they started battling, they started sharing stories, and they started creating memories through sharing stories. Pokemon created a world where they didn't just consume, they ultimately participated. And that's the mindset that events need to have. Instead of designing presentations, design environments where people naturally contribute. Not lazy Q&A, not polls. Give them an opportunity to naturally contribute to drive your presentations forward, whether that's through questions, predictions, challenges, but ultimately focus on shared problem solving so that they can go out and do what they need to do. And when the audience becomes part of this experience, attention instantly changes. Now, the future of events won't be defined by technology. Platforms will evolve. They're not going to remain the same. They're going to evolve. Tools will improve. AI will become more powerful. But the real shift will happen with experiential design. You have to design the experience of your audience. And when we stop asking, how do we run meetings online? And we actually start asking, what kind of experience can only exist online? That is when the real change will happen. And you'll connect with your audience and you will elevate your audience. It will become the start of something entirely new. And with that, I thank you. I hope we were able to provide great value to you today. I hope you can go out and create change. Focus on getting people to care, getting people to believe, telling them what they need to know, telling them what they need to do. Focus on being a level 4 AI user. Audience profile, company profile, mission, objectives, core messaging, golden thread into AI and ask it to assist you with your event. Get the information, use your own creativity to create something that is special and unique. Brief it in with your technical team and they will assist you to create something that is special and unique. But always focus on getting your audience to participate, be part of your event. Get some micro moments in there so that they can drive the story forward as the heroes and achieve what the brands need to achieve. With that, I thank you. Have a lovely day.